My mum always used to tuck me in when I went to bed. She would lay me on my side with my head facing the wall and would then proceed by saying, "Good night, son, and remember, do not peek at the dancer of the night." She smiled, kissed me on the cheek and turned off the light as she closed the door out to the hallway. Do not peek at the dancer of the night. I always found that saying was a little bit silly, not quite understanding the meaning of it. However, when I became older, I started seeing things. When I was just about to fall asleep, I could see a shadow cast on the wall of a woman. She was indeed dancing. After this event, I would stop dreaming of a beautiful woman with red hair, dancing with smooth and graceful movements, while humming with a voice so sweet that my eyes were on the brink of tears. Her elegant white dress fluttered as she swung around, creating a delicate breeze that gently struck my face. It did not take long before I got obsessed by her, thinking of her while I was at school, at home, well, anywhere. Desperately, I sometimes even tried to take a nap during the morning or the afternoon in hope to catch a glance of her. But it seemed like she would only appear at night while my head was facing the wall. So I just started waiting for the time to pass by in order to go to bed so I could get a chance of meeting her again. Every single day I fantasized about turning around and finally seeing her face to face. But every time a shadow appeared on the wall, I couldn't move. My whole body was mesmerized, hypnotized by her dance, forcing me to fall asleep shortly after. Even though my mother had warned me about peeking at the dancer of the night, I could not resist the thought of seeing her with my very own eyes. One night, while the shadow was portraying her performance on my wall, just as I was about to drift into sleep, I unintentionally changed position away from the wall. When my subconscious finally realized what had happened, I abruptly opened my eyes. My eyes continued to open as far as they could when my gaze met the creature that had been occupying my room all these nights. I think it was female, but that was the only resemblance it had to the red-haired beauty I always imagined her to be. Her hair was black, unswept and wispy, so long that it was covering her grey and pale face. Some of her hair was missing, though, leaving large bald spots heavily noticeable on the top of her head. Her skinny body was all crooked, making her movements all but smooth and elegant. All of her limbs were moving awkwardly, twitching and dangling, similar to a puppet being controlled by strings. However, it did not look like she was dancing at all. It reminded me more of some kind of strange and somber ritual. Suddenly, she stopped. She slowly turned her head, making some of the hair covering her visage sway away. Our eyes met. Her eyes were black, all black. She turned her whole body towards me, and her jaw started to slowly drop. It looked like she wanted to scream, but there came no sound. Her mouth just kept opening wider and wider. Her head started shaking, almost as if her jaw was going to snap. She did not move. Yet somehow she was approaching me, making it appear like she was floating or hovering. I was so petrified I could not comprehend that this actually was reality. The now disfigured and twisted woman was almost standing right by my bedside. Out of breath, heaving for air, I quickly threw myself under the covers. Soaked in sweat, the only thing I could hear was the floor creaking beside my bed and the slow and heavy breathing of the dancer. I did not know what to do, so I just kept hiding in my blanket, waiting for the sun to rise. This happened a week ago. I still haven't slept since that night. Every time I go to bed, her shadow reappears on my wall. However, she is no longer dancing. The shadow is just standing there, watching me. It was the second or third day in my new job when I noticed her. Still at the stage of trying to impress my new boss, and the concentration required to fulfill my new role meant it was best if I didn't focus on her rather than the task at hand. But still, she was perfect. I was ambitious and delighted I had secured this position. My new boss seemed to like me, I enjoyed the work. I didn't want to mess up anything up by getting myself into an awkward situation with this woman, no matter how lovely. The next day, I saw her again, a brief glimpse over the shoulder of my colleague. Her beautiful face and hair the color of sunshine, her pale skin and lips curved in a beautiful smile. Was I imagining that was for me? Blushing, I returned to my work. I am a 23-year-old man, a shy boy really still. I had no experience with women. Her quiet beauty appealed to me. All women scared me, this much was true. Shrieking, lively woman in the bars I reluctantly went to with my few friends. I'd been knocked back every time I plucked up the courage after 2 or 3 beers to approach one. I didn't bother anymore. But I was still looking for love, ever hopeful. That night, I googled her. I'd seen her name on a document at work and pretended that it didn't excite me to think I could find out more about her. The nature of my work meant she would soon be gone. They never stick around for long. She was a temporary distraction, really, but a lovely one. After a few minutes, I found what I needed to know. Her name, age. She was single as far as I could see. Her Facebook full of happy pictures and kind words from friends. She was popular, this smiling girl. Still, could I be so unprofessional as to approach her? In a moment of fuck it, maybe it was that beer and a half I'd had. Mother doesn't let me drink in the house, but I was feeling wild. I decided I would. Tomorrow. I had overtime to do. I was pretty sure she'd be around. I'd get to know her then. It was with some trepidation that I dressed for work the next day. My uniform was necessary, but I used some of the aftershave bought for me by my mother. She often did little things for me like this, usually with a sad sigh and the usual, "Son, when will you bring a girl home to your dad and I?" Usually while father rolled his eyes. I couldn't help but think that it might be this time, maybe. with furiously crossed fingers on each hand. I also wore the shirt I regarded as my lucky t-shirt, as that was what I had on that red letter day, that amazing day I was smiled at by a girl in my last job. She had also been beautiful and blonde. Turned out she was just being friendly, but I shouldn't be bitter and angry, not after all this time. She's gone now anyway, thanks to me, they said. At work, I was excited all day. I couldn't eat my lunch. I made a few little mistakes, nothing noticeable, but I worried my new boss would be angry. He was the best friend of my parents and had been kind giving me this job. It had been quite a long time since I worked and I was out of practice. So far he's been patient and kind. I was also worried she'd already be gone. Like I said, people don't stick around here for long. I looked for her all day. I didn't have a reason or excuse to go looking for her, so I just had to sit tight and hope for a glance and the opportunity to get her alone for a minute. Around 6:30 p.m. that evening, hours into a long shift, it had been a busy few days for one reason or another. I got my chance when my boss, kind man that he is, offered to go and fetch some food for our evening meal. He told me I'd worked hard and had a good first week. He would be happy to report back to my parents that he was happy to keep me on, that I was in no trouble. With a chuckle, he told me not to get used to this and I would be fetching his meals in future if we ever worked late. With that, he left. I was alone and I decided to get on with it. Steeling myself, running a sweaty hand through my hair and swallowing hard, straightening my tie, and with one eye on the door, I approached where I knew she would be at this time. Still there, still beautiful, quiet, and with sunshine hair and pale skin. I don't know what came over me at that moment. I'm a shy boy, inexperienced with women. But I just knew this was going to be okay, and if I kissed her, she wouldn't react like all the others. She wouldn't scream me and push me away, shouting in my face, "What are you doing? How dare you, pervert." Pervert. I'd heard that more than once. My own mother once called me that, and then clapped a hand to a shocked mouth, as if she was the one who had done something wrong. Not this time. This time, I was sure I was right. I hadn't misread the signals. She had never turned away from me, laughed at my shy glances. I was sure she was mine. Feeling brave and sure, I placed my hand on her shoulder. Her bare skin was cool and smooth. She didn't move, didn't shrug me off. Her blue eyes remained fixed on mine. In a moment of incredible bravery, I leant to kiss her. It was my first, my only kiss. I only broke off when I heard a shocked noise, a throat clearing and a sigh of infinite sadness. Stood in the door of the mortuary where I now worked, a bag containing our meal clutched in his right hand, was my new boss. I knew it looked bad. It was unprofessional as I glanced down at her fixed stare and those blue lips. I didn't feel regret. This girl, the girl I was holding in my arms, wasn't like all the rest.